Greetings, Judah. DFG here, Gideon's Flight. Hey guys, if I look a little puffy, it's only because I've been recovering from a cold. And guess what, guys? As disappointing as it might sound, I had a cold, and that's all I had was a cold. I didn't panic. I didn't stay home, for 14 days or 10 days. I didn't call my doctor. I just took some cold medicine, some cough drops, drank a lot of vitamin C, tried to get as much rest as I could, and I'm still here. Oh, and by the way, this video is being done while I'm while I'm in YouTube prison. Because YouTube just decided to suspend my channel for a week because I got one strike, because I was talking about something that I am not allowed to talk about because I'm not a medical expert, all right? So my opinion and my research and, my understanding, my ability to process information, carefully, gather as much data as I can to validate my particular opinion, is not considered in YouTube's world, an educated response. Therefore, anything that I say about my research is considered, anti-medical science propaganda. Like the way I said that? I kind of like the way I said it. But anyway, so I'm under YouTube. I'm in YouTube prison for a week. I think I got 2 more days left, but I said, oh, what the hell? I can do the video today and I'll send it to you. So you'll get this video in 2 days. But I just wanted to just take a moment, guys, and just talk about, the importance of free speech, the importance of, again, doing your own research, coming to an understanding about the things that matter to you and those things that matter to those that you love. We are in a day and time like we have never imagined. A year ago, if anyone would have told us that, we would all be living under the conditions that we're living in, we all would have thought that that was just conspiracy talk, childish talk, and talk that really, should be dismissed, or so-called intelligent people will be advising us, dismiss those idiots because they don't know what the hell they're talking about. But, as the old saying goes, first they hate you, then they think you're crazy, and then you change your world. And that's, what it looks like in the early stages. People will hate you for having an opinion that does not go along with, the mainstream opinion. They will hate you. And if their hatred towards you is not enough to discourage you or to shut you down, then they will scandalize your name. They'll call you crazy. They'll call you a religious zealot. They'll call you, I don't know. I got called a crackhead one time, so maybe they even call you a crackhead. Although I've never even seen anybody smoke crack, let alone smoke crack. But I got called a crackhead one time for, because I was in disagreement with someone. So, but that's where we are now. So they'll call you crazy or lunatic. But, if you stand your ground off of your conviction and you've done your homework, you've done your research, then don't worry about what the hell they have to say. As the old saying, everybody is entitled to their own opinion, but they're not entitled to their own facts. The facts are not going to change just because you disagree with the facts or because they disagree with the facts. Yeshua told us that we should always take the straight gate, the straight path, the narrow path, the path of most resistance. Because he said we should not conform. And conformity means that you're going the broad way or the easy way. The way that you don't have to deal with any kind of heat, any kind of pressure, that you don't have to make any sacrifices. And I will tell you that every time I have chosen to take that easy way out, it always turned out to be the long way around. So I would remind you, my sisters, my brothers, is that, be, true to yourself. If you can't be true to anybody else, be true to yourself in terms of the decisions that you're going to make. That especially in these days and times when there's a lot of information out there telling you what decision is in your best interest and what decisions are not. At the end of the day, don't you have to live with the consequences of the decisions that you make, at least in most cases? Well, I guess if you're not in the boule groups or the elitist group or political class, then I guess you don't have to live with those consequences because they say one thing and do something else. But for most of us, laymen, you follow me? The hardworking men and women, around the world, typically we have to deal with the decision. We have to live with our decisions. So I would tell you that, make your own decision, think free. And this is not some psychobabble where I'm trying to tell you, the world is just a charm and all you got to do is think your way into happiness. That's bullshit. Happiness has to be fought. Happiness has to be won. It's a struggle, peace of mind. That's ultimately, isn't that happiness, a peace of mind? You're not going to get a peace of mind because you showed up to the dance. Just because you showed up to the dance don't mean the girl going to dance with you. All right, you're going to have to find a way to, as the old saying, you got to have some flair about yourself, right? A little flair. You got some flair, the girl might give you a chance. You might get a dance. But if you go there just absent-minded, just saying, well, I'm here, something good's going to happen, I wouldn't bank on that necessarily if you don't have flair, all right? And the same thing with your decisions, guys. You have to come prepared. You have to be prepared before you make a decision. Do not allow yourself to just go along with it because of the pressure of peer pressure, world peer pressure, science peer pressure, family peer pressure, religious pressure. You make your decisions based off of if your very soul depended on you getting it right. Because at the end of the day, your very soul does depend on you getting it right. And remember, all decisions are, that unfavorable decisions are decisions that you make that don't come back in the way that you want. It doesn't mean that's a poor decision. Because sometimes, it doesn't need to work in your favor because maybe it's a little premature what you want to do. Sometimes, you just need to wait and see what the next guy is going to do, right? Like poker. You follow me? You don't have to have a winning hand to win at poker, as someone told me. You just have to know what the other guy is going to do. So that said, it was strange in the beginning. I guess Yah has a way. See, Yah has a way of giving you peace in the midst of the storm, right? Because I said, for all time for me to get my cold, my bad cold, I guess if it was no other time to be in YouTube jail, I guess, he said, okay, I'm going to let you rest because, that brain of yours, DFG, just wants to go on and on and on. So he kind of, he laid me down for a few minutes. And then, he said, and by the way, don't worry about your messaging. The message will get there if that's what his intentions are. You follow me? And secondly, again, and even in all of this stuff, you can't convince somebody to do something that they're convinced not to do. If someone is already convinced that they're not going to do it, don't waste your time trying to convince them, my friends. Just let them go with it. If they're right, they'll see it. If they're wrong, they'll see it. Yeshua warned us of that. He said, don't cast your pearls to the swine. Don't give what's holy to the dogs. Yeshua even went as far as to say, if you knock on their door and say, hey, is it peace in here? And there is no peace in it, dust your feet at their door and go away. But he's telling you, don't try to force something on somebody if they don't want to believe it. A lot of people already got their minds made up on a lot of these things that the world is dealing with. So it's pointless to go over there and try to guide them in a different direction. If they're adults, let them live with their decisions. I mean, don't shut up. You follow me? Because you can be that one change. You can be that voice that can get people to turn around. No question about that. But don't take it personal if they don't want to hear it. Your responsibility, if Yah has given you a message, is to share that message. Your responsibility is not to convince somebody to go forward with that message. That is not your responsibility. That's called arrogance, and that's borderline idolatry. That's borderline, I guess the word would be idolatry, putting yourself in the place of Yah. After all, didn't the scripture say one planet, another water, but Yah give it the increase? So what that simply means, you say what you got to say and you go on about your way. And, if it's intended for it to grow, someone else will come and say something else. And if they're putting it in somebody who's ready, they'll understand it and they'll see it and they'll make the right decision. There's enough information through the internet to answer any question that any of us might have. Both sides, there's enough information for you to get to both sides of the argument right now on anything that's really important. So I can't talk about the most important thing right now. So I'm going to tell you, there's enough information out there to get both sides of the argument on anything that's absolutely important and detrimental in terms of your future. There's enough information both sides. So go research. Don't just take one side. Go look at both sides. And then that way you can make an informed, educated decision. Because I've already made mine. I already know what I'm not going to do. I already know that. Nothing's going to change that. Nothing's going to persuade me to do anything different. And if I can add one more, from our book, from our ancestors, go to the book of Maccabees and start reading. I want to say it's Maccabees. Start reading about first Maccabees, start reading about chapter 3 up to about chapter 8. And watch what some of our ancestors did when, the government was trying to force them to, violate the Sabbath. And then secondly, trying to force them to eat unclean things. You know what I'm saying? Go watch and see. You're going to be very surprised what happened. And watch how they took a stand. They died for the stand they took, by the way. So, righteousness comes at a cost. Your peace of mind going to come at a cost. But these people, our ancestors died because they refused to eat a pig. They died because, one group died because they decided that it was Sabbath and they wouldn't defend themselves. You see, you got a lot of these street corner prophets telling you that we're not supposed to defend ourselves. We're supposed to be peaceful. But they talk a lot of shit. I'm talking about, these jokers, these so-called Hebrews, Israelites on these corners, calling white people devils and dogs and all of that kind of stuff, whether that's true or not. But the minute you say defend yourself, they, oh no, don't defend yourself. See, that's the devil. That is the devil. How you going to insult people then at the same time when somebody want to defend themselves against the very people you're insulting, you tell them, oh, that's not what the Bible says. You're a liar. Psalm 144 says, Yah, teach my hands to fish and my fingers to war. Right? My fingers to fight and my fists to war. Tell them to explain that part to you. What does that mean? That they're telling you not to defend yourself. But that's the hypocrisy of these devils. These idiots. They don't study nothing. They just get out there and they make a whole bunch of noise. That's all they do is talk a bunch of shit. Because if you go back and say, let me see the change you making, there's no change they're making. And they're going to bust hell wide open, by the way. Them niggas are going to be the ones that are going to go to the hell and claim they're 144,000. I'll be damned if they are. You really think that's what Yah wants from you, to stand on the corner talking shit to the heathens? You should be out here, looking and spiritually, informing your people on and warning your people on the things to come. This is as the days of Noah were, as Yeshua said. These are the days of Noah, the days of repeating themselves. And Yeshua said, in the last days, they'll be just as they were the days of Noah. That's in Matthew 24. Go read it for yourself. And so, I don't mean to digress talking about them devils over there. They're wolves in sheep clothing too. They're just darker wolves. All right? But at the end of the day, you follow me? It's about you doing your own research, my brothers and sisters. It's about you getting your own facts, my brothers and sisters. And don't listen to other people's opinion. Don't let people scare you into making poor decisions. Because you're going to have to live with it ultimately. Then the word says, be not deceived. Yah is not mocked. Whatever man soweth, that he's going to also reap. So you're going to reap that decision. So you need to get the best decision. If you make the wrong decision, that decision may be the detriment of you and the people that you love. You follow me? And that's enough information for you based off of why I got suspended in the first place. How about that? And YouTube, since you're policing this goddamn channel, I haven't said anything that's violating your medical science, expertise, whatever the hell that means. But I'm just talking to my people. And my people, I am telling you, don't worry about if they call you, if they hate you because you won't conform. Don't worry about if they call you crazy because you won't conform. Because you may be the difference maker for the people that you love. And surely you're going to be a vessel used by Yah if you allow yourself to not conform, not to take that broad path that leadeth to destruction. But you take, that narrow path. Yeshua was put in prison and executed because he challenged the system and the status quo. And how can you be like him, yet you refuse to do it? You're going to go the way of the heathen, when that's exactly what he told us not to do. So again, I'm going to end this video as I sit in jail. Do what you want to do. As far as me and my house, we're going to serve Yah. Peace, brothers and sisters.